So I got a new guitar pedal. Today, we are talking about... that's fine. We are talking about this. The OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Drive analog guitar pedal by Fulltone. Now, I've been using Digitech pedals forever. I pretty much bought... I'll show you that one too, actually. This bad boy, I bought this thing back maybe like 12 years ago. And it's been the only pedal I've used since. To me, it had everything that I needed in it. It was easy to travel around. I didn't really know much about pedals, you know, back in the day. I was able to tweak this and get a few tones out of it that I really, really liked. And that's just what I used forever. And pretty much all the strings of Atlas, any kind of guitar sampling stuff I did, if it wasn't run direct and clean, it was run through this. So, what got me into trying out new pedals now, so late in the game? It was working with Charles Godfrey on the new album, which I'm pretty sure y'all have heard me mention Charles before. He's been pretty much the engineer that I've worked with since my intern at the Sonic Ranch in Tornillo, Texas. Dude taught me 70% of what I know about recording now. The dude's got an amazing ear for everything. He has no idea that I'm saying this in this video, but I will say right now, Charles Godfrey of Sonic Ranch and of Scary American Studios here in Austin. One of the best sound engineers, coolest guys you ever meet. So we've been working on, you know, a couple of new albums and everything with the Guy Titan releases coming up, and of course one of them is a Strings of Atlas album, which has that kind of heavy, hard rock feel to it. And we were working on a track and I just could not get the tone right. And we're going back, we're playing a couple parts, and he goes, here man, take this pedal, try this out, play this, see how it comes out. So it wasn't this pedal, mind you. He gave me another distortion. Took it home, played it, brought it back, and the mix, you could just tell the difference between that guitar track and the digital track. And as much as I love it, there's just like this fullness difference, and there's this little buzz that happens on the top of it that's not like a, oh that's cool heavy rock and roll buzz, but more of like, what is that noise? But this, for some reason, this particular track really brought it out. And he tells me, he goes, Atlas, you gotta try some analog pedals, man. He goes, I love the digital stuff, the versatility and the ease of use is great. And he's like, but if you really want to start getting that heavier sound, and that sound it's not clean, it's just, you can tell what the notes are, but it's still distorted and heavy. He's like, you gotta get into some analog stuff. So we started looking at pedals, and this is the first one I'm trying out. And honestly, I really love the sound of it. It still has that fullness and that punch and that grit that I'm always looking for in the rock music that I'm doing. So this is not a paid endorsement thing, by the way. This was more of like something cool to talk about. I just thought it was kind of fun, and I just started playing this. I got this like 3 days ago. So what I want to do is play a couple tracks for you, kind of show you the examples, show you some examples of what it sounds like. So let's hook this thing back up, see what it sounds like. Just to give you some reference, I'm actually just playing direct right now into the Focusrite, just going straight in the computer. So you're hearing this out of the monitors on it, the clearing sound, nothing put on it, this not turned on, and everything's down the middle on EQ. High mids and lows, no extra gain on it, just... Now, I'm going to take this down just a little bit, keep the volume up just to give it that push, but, so if we take our tone all the way down, and take our drive down, we get a little... Little bit of overdrive, not too much. It kind of muddies the tone a little bit. Muddies the sound of the notes a little bit, bringing that tone down. Where if we were to push that tone, say, halfway... Gives it a little more clarity. And then if we go all the way up with the tone... You get that drive, but you get the that nice resonance in the notes a little, kind of brings them out, makes them a little brighter. Now we are playing on LP or low peak, which if we push it, make it go even a little more brighter, flipping it to HP. You notice that kind of clears it up even more, and it also pushes it just a little further. You get a little more volume out of it. So I just like the way that sounds too, so we'll just leave it in HP for now. So volume's up on this, tone's up. Now let's push the drive a little bit. So you've got, push it up about halfway. Yeah, now it gets nice and funky on it. So. So that really starts to push you more in that distortion range where you start getting nice and heavy with it. And then it's not a huge difference, at least I think, when you go from about halfway up the drive to full drive on it. A little more crunch, but it's not a huge difference. But it's enough that I feel like this pedal really gives you some grit without losing the clarity of your notes, which for me is important because I like to play barred and heavy chords. My bad. I like to play barred and heavy chords, but I also like to do, guitar solos and wahs and psychedelics, a little bit of something crazy in there that I feel like if you can't tell what the note is, it kind of just becomes drone out a little bit. And it's still good too if you're playing something like, if you're doing metal and just kind of check it. It still gives you a nice, full, chunky, just punching them in the face kind of music. It's been a good sound so far. Even in the few days that I've had it working with it, it sounds pretty good. So you're able to maintain that clarity in the notes while still getting that hard hitting, just rock and roll sound, right? So I personally really like the OCD pedal. It's not that expensive. It's analog, so you get a little bit more of that saturation and that warmth that you're looking for that you don't necessarily get with digital pedals. And yeah, I'm looking forward to trying more of it out. So you got volume, you got your drive, it's the amount of grit it's going to put on those notes you're using. And it's got tone, which pretty much goes from low to high. So you got your low to your mid-range to your high. So if you want something more muddy, you want something clearer, that's the knob doing that. Now, this was something I had not seen before. HP and LP, which stands for high peak and low peaks. And this kind of HP gives it what they call the British sound. And it gives it a bit more grit and pushes it just a little bit further. It makes it a little bit brighter, whereas LP kind of softens it just a little bit, give you a little more groove to it. So depends on your style, what you want to do. Now, I will say this is an overdrive pedal that walks the line of a distortion pedal. Just in case you don't know the difference on them, this is a learning process for me. So this is just, if you could teach it, do you know it kind of thing. The difference between overdrive, distortion, and straight up fuzz. Overdrive, it kind of takes the note that you're playing and it pushes it past the threshold of what it takes to stay clean. And it gives you that kind of tube sound with it. Whereas distortion actually does a soft clipping to your note, kind of cuts off the top of it. Actually, you know what? I've got pictures for this. Hold on. Alright, so here we are. We're looking at the sine wave on a note. And what you're seeing with the blue line is the original note, the sine wave itself. There's a threshold on which you can amplify a note before it starts to become distorted. And the space between the sine wave of the note itself and that distortion point is what's known as headroom. So that's the amount that you can continue to amplify this note before it starts to become distorted. So looking at this picture, say the blue is that's your original sine wave of the note. If you notice the soft clipping, this yellow line, that's where the note starts to get squished a little bit when you've amplified too far and it starts to break away a bit and you start to get that little buzzy, gritty kind of sound. That's an overdrive. So a distortion is going to push that even further. It's going to clip it even harder, and that's going to cause the note itself to become distorted. It's going to start to kind of lose that tone a little bit, but really get that grit and fuzz that, of course, you hear in a ton of rock and metal and everything. And then lastly, whenever you see a square sine wave, that's usually getting into your fuzz range. And fuzz it's just kind of destroying that note a little bit, and it gets very muddy. Great for heavier and hard sounds, a little bit hard to hear. You're not getting clarity in it. Usually you're not doing guitar solos in this, and if you are, they're very psychedelic and kind of abstract. Also, if y'all hear all that clucking in the background, I think one of the chickens just laid another egg, and they've been losing their minds. So it's great we're getting eggs. It is less great that they sing about it every day, all day. So the most natural form of distorting a note is going to be overdrive, which essentially is just pushing that sine wave. And overdrive achieves the sound. Overdrive pedals, like this, they achieve that sound by using what's called soft clipping. And that's what you're seeing in the wave here, where it starts to clip off that wave a bit and distort it just enough to give it that grit. The word overdrive means driving an amp over its clean capacity. It is breaking up that clean signal into this hard rock, just beauty of chaos, right? So I think it's also fun and important to note the way fuzz before pedals was really achieved, mostly by destroying your equipment. People would like slash the cone of the amp to get this like fuzzy sound. A lot of it was attributed to people dropping their amps. I think like Dick Dale, one of his amps fell off a roof, busted up bad enough that it became fuzzy and almost unusable, but it still played, and that gave him this ultra fuzzy, distorted kind of sound. Where in a tube amp, if the tube in a tube amp was to unsettle, it could cause a lot of feedback and ringing and buzzing, and people were actually purposely destroying their amps to get that sound. I mean, that's pretty metal, right? Everything, it feels like since December, it's just been non-stop. What is it? We got 2 albums going on. The releases, creating the website, getting all of the social media stuff ready to go, starting to pre-create social media posts, doing the vlog, doing the editing, doing 2 simultaneous music videos, working PR meetings, meeting with videographers, meeting with DPs, amidst all that, and then in life doing like the wedding planning stuff, all the travel and family stuff, and it's just like, where'd the time go? I'm an old man already out here with these chickens just sitting on the farm. I just want to clarify, this is not complaining. This is like, you want to know what's up, I'm just kind of letting you know what's up. You want to know why I've been locked in a room for the past 12 weeks and just run outside, record a vlog, go to the zoo, go to the abandoned zoo, and then run back inside and work for 15 hours. That's just what's been going on. And I'm still trying to put together some live things. Maybe. I don't know, live music's stressful. Nah, I probably shouldn't say that, right? I shouldn't say live music's stressful. Live music is amazing. And also stressful. I like that it picks up my ring. Got that Tom Morello going. So there you go, y'all. My review of the OCD Obsessive Compulsive Drive Pedal. I mean, if you got requests on, you want to hear something else, let me know. What kind of overdrive pedals do you use? What kind of distortion do you use? Did you know the difference between overdrive distortion and fuzz? Because I did not until I started looking into this. Which I think is cool. I feel like, you're always learning something as a musician. Leave in the comments below, let me know. And of course, I'm going to say subscribe, but I don't even need to say it because you already subscribed to this, right? Yeah, alright. I'm just going to jam a little bit, and then I got like 4 meetings today. Also, this is Sunday. I'm filming this the day it's coming out. Don't get mad at it. I'm doing so many things. I'm gonna leave y'all with the same thing we started this off with.